Hey, what's up guys? Today on Fishy Talks, we're going to be hopping right back into Siege, a game that I've been really enjoying playing recently. And we're going to be talking about a topic that I think needs some desperate attention in the game. Because when I'm playing casual and I'm playing ranked, this is a huge issue that I see, and that's defensive map control. It is shocking to me how many players just box themselves into a site, just set up whatever kind of strats that they have and just hope for the best and just let the enemies have 90% of the map. It just boggles my mind. And today I hope to help alleviate that problem and maybe even fix it. Who knows? Now, before I begin, I want to talk about one simple fact. And that fact is that this game still has so much uncharted territory. And whether this approach to defense is right or wrong, only time will tell. The meta has changed so much even in the last few months. It's mind-boggling, and who knows how it will change in the future. But that being said, this is the current meta right now as it stands, especially at a higher level, and it's one that I think will stay for a while. It's got a lot of logical backing, and it's very effective when done properly. So this is one that I think will stay, and it's one that I think lower level players need to start picking up and learning because it is very effective. So without further ado, let's hop right into the meat of the video. So first things first, before you can understand a proper defense and how to approach the defensive side, you really have to understand the attacking side. So let's take a quick sidestep and really take a look at the attacking side. So the way that I like to describe the attacking side is in phases. So first of all, the most obvious one, you've got your preparation phase. This is the phase where the 45 seconds right at the start of the round, you're droning, you're trying to figure out where the bombs are, finding any intel, putting your drones to watch windows, to look for spawn peaks, and all that fun stuff. Then you've got your hold phase, as I like to call it. Pretty much this is the phase where the attackers are entering the building, clearing out cameras, looking for roamers, and just pretty much just getting their map control. And the phase after that, the third phase, is the setup phase. This is where the attacking side has their proper map control and they're setting up to take the site. This is when, you know, players like Buck would be blowing out the floor, Sledge, and they're shooting into the site, softening up the defense. And then finally, right after that, you've got your attack phase. So I like to describe it in 4 phases. You get either way, 4 phases. And the final one is obviously just the site take. Final piece in the attack. Now, when you're looking at these phases, which one takes the most time and is probably the most important out of all of these phases? The right answer is the hold phase, the phase where the attackers are getting their map control. So let's take a moment and just look specifically at this phase. Generally during this phase, a lot of attacking teams are very spread out. Generally there's one person alone, groups of 2, sometimes 3, but very rarely are there 5 players roaming together. And this is where they're spread out. They're trying to find where everyone's playing from, trying to pick off the roamers, and getting their initial map control. On an objective like Teller's Archive on Bank, the main objective of the attacking side is to get control of CEO and conference room, because when they have that control, they can just bust out the roof and shoot down right on top of you, right? So that's what a lot of their time and the beginning opening gunfights are taken up getting that map control and making a site take that much easier, because you can clear out like 90% of the site just through that roof alone. So why would you just let them have it? When we look across the entire game, all the maps, all the bomb sites, almost every single one, if not every single one, has some sort of exploit from a separate part of the map, whether it be hatches, the roof, some certain walls, some sort of certain angles down a hallway, through a corridor, you know, certain entry points. Like every site has some sort of way that the attackers can exploit the bomb site and clear out the players playing inside of it. Because of that, there's almost no bomb site in the entire game that actually benefits from a 5-man stack on the site. In fact, the only one that I can think of off the top of my head is CCTV and lockers on Bank. That's one of the few sites that I think that would actually benefit from a 5-man stack. But even then, you could still argue for sending up at least one roamer up to the top floor, because you guys got to remember, the enemies are very spread out. This is when they're at the most disorganized in their entire take. It's always good to try to get an early fight and try to get an early pick or so while they're separated. But not only is the enemy team at this phase very spread out and at a disadvantageous position, but they're against the clock. They've got to get that map control and they've got to take the site. So by sending up a few players to control these specific key areas for the enemies to attack, you're not only wasting their time, but you're forcing their hand and you're getting kills while doing it. You're breaking their strats up. And most importantly, you're denying them the ability to use crazy angles like busting out roofs above you. You're allowing your players to hide deeper and deeper into the site, and you're making them a lot safer. And you're forcing the enemies into a choke point, and it's all around just a better option for defending. Now, I'm not saying send the entire team out roaming, because that would probably be a bad idea. But hey, you never know. Maybe that's the new meta in a week, right? Who knows? But what I am saying is that it's a lot better to send 2-3 players out than one or none. And that's what I see most of the time in lower rank play and even in gold level play. And if it gets too hairy, that's why you've got the prep phase. Set up some rotation holes, blow out some hatches far away from the site. Give your roamers an option to fall back and give some fast distance on the enemies, right? A hatch is a perfect way for a roamer to try to catch off and flank the enemies. If he starts losing the gunfight, he can drop through a hatch, and now he's on a completely different floor away from them, as far as he can be. And those are the kind of things you need to think about in that prep phase. Instead of just reinforcing whatever, throwing up your utility and just kind of sitting there, set up some rotation holes. If you've got a shotgun, smoke is perfect for them, right? Set up your barbed wire, shotgun some holes on the walls, blow open some hatches that are kind of far away. Use that prep time, right? And that's going to lead me into my next topic. What to do with your reinforcement, because this is a huge issue that I see, and one that can seriously help give you some extra map control just by moving around some reinforcement. So like I said, the other problem with defensive map control and just defensive play in general that I see is reinforcement placement. Remember, you can extend the sites, right? Don't just box yourself into a room. Be very strategic with where you put your reinforcement. Remember, you can always put your reinforcements on a separate part of the map. It doesn't have to be on the objective. Blow open some walls, give yourself some space, some area to move around. Don't just box yourself into a site. Hey, a perfect example on Skyscraper, if your tea room in Karaoke, Geisha is a perfect place to move your extra reinforcements off to the side, right? Put them on those white walls so that you have some actual hard cover to fight the players at the window, because that's a very common spot that the attackers go to, right? And if you're talking about blowing up walls, on Coastline, if you're master bedroom and you're playing secure area, blow open the walls into the theater, right? There's already a door there and there's 2 side walls. I always see players reinforcing that wall. Blow it open, right? Just give yourself a full access point to theater. It completely extends the site, gives you tons of extra places to play from, new angles, and reinforce the wall in theater, right? You don't have to reinforce and box yourself into the master bedroom. Take some time in a private match and really learn proper positioning for your reinforcements, because there are so many examples aside from these 2 that I just gave you. There are so many cool places to put your reinforcements. Watch some pro games and really learn, strategize. Don't just place your reinforcements wherever because there's a soft wall. Be strategic. It's better to not put your reinforcement down than it is to waste it and box yourself into a disadvantageous position. And remember, the key thing you got to remember is that you spawn with access to the entire building and almost a minute to use it. Use the entire building, set up a defense, give yourself some cool little angles to views, and really use that time effectively. There's no point in just wasting the entire building and just box yourself into a site. It is pointless. Anyway, guys, you get the point. Take that map control and fight for it. It's free. You spawn in the building, they don't. Use that to your advantage. So there it is, guys. That is defensive map control in Siege. Thank you guys so much for stopping by and watching the video. If you're new, hit the sub button, join the Fish fam today, and check out the description. I've got my social medias linked down there below to save you guys some time. And with that extra time, hit me with some love, like the video, check out my other social medias, and as always, see you guys on the other side.